What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Hatoraid Live, the Hatoraid Hour podcast. I'm your host, Jordan, aka Hatoraid Cowboy, and thank you for joining me on this Friday evening. Hope everybody is home safe. If you're not home, you're driving home. Hope you make it home safe. Thank you to everybody that's watching this live, as well as those who are watching this after the fact. Got a lot to share with you, but before we get started, as always, let's have fun. Let's be kind to one another. Let's keep it G-rated. All right, let's see. We got somebody in the comments. Rob James. What's up, Rob? Thank you for tuning in live, Rob. Rob's been a long supporter of the channel. Appreciate that. Take a little swig of water here. And hopefully, excuse me, hopefully the stream doesn't die on me. I was having some issues earlier. We've been having some bad rain here in Houston. I lost power yesterday for like 5 hours while I was working from home, so that sucked. But power's back. Hopefully we don't have any more issues. We've been having a lot of rain. Had more rain today. We're going to be getting some more rain on Sunday. Spliffy Bendrick says, "Sup? What's up, man? Thank you for tuning in live." All right, let's see here. So, April recap. So, a lot of stuff happened in April. I guess not a whole lot, but some good stuff happened in April. So, let me backtrack. Let me look at my studio here. So, what did I do last month? Oh, I saw Godzilla X Kong last month. Actually, I think it came out March 31st, or no, March 30th, something like that. But I saw it twice. So I saw it, first time I saw it, it was in 40X. And I talked about this a little bit in the out of theater reaction. That was a very interesting experience. That was my first time doing 40X. So I didn't really know what to expect. Some friends, the friends that I went with, half of them hadn't done it before either. And then the other half had, and they were like, it's pretty intense. It's pretty violent. And they weren't lying. Like, you're like a rag doll in your seat. So it was one of those things where I'm glad I experienced it, but I don't think I'll ever do it again. It's just too much. Like, for me, I couldn't focus on the movie. It's a fun experience to experience with other people and other friends. But as far as like just watching a movie, it's horrible because you're just, like I said, you're like a rag doll. And that was the perfect movie, Godzilla X Kong, because there's action all the time and it's just throwing you around. And I was just like, you know, this is too much. I did it once. That's it for me. But I did see it again, and it's a very, obviously these movies, you know, they're turn your brain off type of action where you suspend all reality. But it was fun, man. Like, I've loved all of the Godzilla movies, from the first Godzilla movie all the way up until Kong, all the way up until this one. Really enjoyed the last one. The Godzilla vs. Kong is one of the best Atmos mixes that I've heard on 4K Blu-ray. So I'm very hopeful for this new one, Godzilla X Kong, which I believe comes out this month on Kaleidoscape. I got to look at the date, but I'm going to try to pick that up, do a review of that. But yeah, Godzilla X Kong was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing it. So I watched it twice, like I said. I watched it in 40X, and then I watched it again in IMAX because I wanted to experience it like without all the, you know, craziness. But yeah, on IMAX, seeing it on the big screen was awesome. Mike likes tacos. Hello. I also like tacos too, Mike. Thank you for joining in. What type of tacos do you like? You know what? That's funny that with that name, birria is like happening right now. I don't know why it's so popular. At least here in Houston, Texas, it's like all the rage. So they're good though. But I do love me some tacos. Love me some Tex-Mex and all that stuff. And a package just got delivered for me. Cool. I'll have to get that out to the stream. So yeah, so Godzilla X Kong. I did that. I did the Stark Sound SW15 subwoofer. I still need to do the stacked review of that. And I still have the Arendal 2V subwoofer, their biggest subwoofer. I still need to do a review on that. That's partially done, but I still need to. I need to get on that. Carne asada. I keep it simple. Nice. Good stuff, man. Tacos are pretty simple. Let's see here. So yeah, movies. I also did. Well, I'll get into that later. Because I skip reviews. So April recap. Yeah. So I did the. Oh, I saw the SVS Ultra Evolution speaker for the first time. Just did a video on that 5 days ago. Did the unboxing for that. So that was cool to see those in person. They're very polarizing. Like I can't, because it's so different from what SVS has done before with the design. Like it's hard for me to get adjusted to it. I don't dislike it, but I wouldn't say that I'm like loving the design either. I think it's just going to take me some time to get used to, just because it's so different. It's so polarizing. I haven't heard them yet. Hopefully, I think we're going to try to get maybe some bookshelf speakers, maybe like the center channel, and then 4 bookshelf speakers. I might even try to see if I can get some height speakers, because I think I might be able to do that. But I'm definitely going to try to get 5 speakers bookshelf, because I don't want to deal with I don't want to deal with the boxes of the towers, and excuse me, all my speakers, my left, center, right, and my rear surrounds are all on stands because they're monitors. So I just want to kind of keep it like bookshelf. It'll be a lot easier for me to maneuver, to move around. Boxes will be smaller. It'll be easier for me to review. So I'm hoping to get that. I've been talking to Chris at the Grid Hi-Fi. It looks like we're probably going to try to get that whenever they come in. They just sold the only bookshelf speaker pair that they had. And I know those speakers are going to be like the hot commodity. So I can't say when I'm going to get them in for review, but it is in the works. Mike Likes Taco says, they must have fixed the Oppenheimer mix because I swear it was busted in the theater. I didn't see Oppenheimer in the theater, but I can sympathize with you, because when I saw Dune Part 2, the first time I saw it, the first viewing I saw it was on your standard screen, and it sounded good. But I was like, I got to hear this in IMAX. So I saw it again in IMAX, and I went to an IMAX theater that I don't usually go to because it's a lot closer to me. And since I had already seen the movie, I was like, I don't want to drive 45 minutes in traffic. So I was like, there's an IMAX theater that's 15, 20 minutes for me. So I went there, and I was very disappointed. And actually, the second time I saw it also with another couple that we both saw at the same time the first time. They also saw it with me too. And they were showing the trailers, and I was like, man, something's not right. And I kept listening. I was like, the right back speaker is like 10 to 15 dB hotter than all the other speakers. It was super prominent. And I looked to my friend, I was like, do you hear that? Like, does it sound like that speaker is like a lot hotter than the other ones? And he was like, he's not really into audio that much, but he was like, yeah. And then when the movie started, I was like, maybe it's because the previews, maybe the previews are only like 2.1 or whatever, or stereo. I don't know. But I was like, maybe it's just the previews. And the movie started, and I was like, it got a little bit better, but not much. And then there was just like zero bass on the IMAX. And it's funny, before I even said anything, once we got outside the theater, we finished watching the movie, my buddy was like, is it just me, or was the IMAX kind of like lackluster? And I was like, yeah. I'm like, there was like no bass. And he was like, yeah, I noticed that too. So I don't know what it is. And I also saw Godzilla X Kong at that same IMAX theater for the same reason. I had seen it twice, and I was like, I'm going to see that. I think I saw it for the second time during the week, and I didn't want to deal with traffic. So I went back. Same thing. I didn't notice that the right back speaker was like super loud, but there was just no bass. So I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to go here anymore for IMAX. So I went to see The Fall Guy at the IMAX that I normally go to here in Houston. It's a Regal theater. It's like, I think it's the biggest IMAX screen in Houston. It's huge. And yeah, it's completely different experience. But I'll talk about that here in a little bit too. Mike Likes Taco says, I just watched the 4K Oppenheimer. The 4K slams. In theater, I couldn't make out the conversation where Oppie meets the wife. The house party was at the same level. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the. I was talking about that with some of my friends. I don't know if there's like a process whenever a movie comes out, because usually, a movie comes out in theaters and it plays in that same theater as long as it's doing well for, I don't know, a couple weeks, maybe a couple months. I don't know. It seems like they're not calibrating the theater per movie, because in my thought is every movie is mixed differently. So let's say Dune Part 2 comes out. You calibrate it, before you allow the people to come in and see it. You get the movie, you have somebody come in and calibrate it. Once Dune Part 2 is done after 2 months, Godzilla X Kong comes in, you calibrate for that movie, because you're going to get different sound effects, you're going to get different levels. So it seems to me that they're just not calibrating the theater, and they're just playing each movie as it comes through there, and they're not calibrating it. So it's kind of it makes me appreciate my home theater even more. But it's like, if I'm spending my money, I want the best experience. So it's a little bit disheartening, because it seems like there's no standard with these theaters. If you go to one theater, even if it's the same, because I typically go to Regal since I have Regal Unlimited, it seems like even though it's the same brand or the same company, there's no standard. So Ernest Ray, Rich Moore. What's up, Rich? Thank you for tuning in. From Thailand, I presume. Are they going to make another Dune movie? As far as I heard, they are. I believe it's in the works. I was hearing that Dune 3 was going to be Dune Messiah, but I've heard more recently that Dune Messiah is going to be a TV series on HBO. So I don't know if that's true. I don't know what the material is going to be for Dune Part 3. But I have heard that it is in the works. I mean, why not? It's popular. It's making money. That's usually how it works. But I have heard things about Dune Messiah that a lot of people say that Dune Messiah gets really, 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 really weird. And I've never read the books, but I've kind of read up on it a little bit. And yeah, it seems like there's some crazy stuff that happens. I mean, Dune Part 2, there were some really weird parts too, like with hopefully you've seen it already, so spoilers, but like with his sister, like growing at exceptionally fast speeds and then being able to talk to Jessica, and like it got really weird. And then they kept cutting to the womb and like the embryo and stuff. I was like, what is this? But still an epic movie. And one of the best sounding Blu-rays, 4K Blu-rays. Well, I have it on Clydescape, but one of the best that I've ever heard. Top 3. Mike Likes Taco says, I would love to know how the levels are adjusted in the theater. If they are, exactly. I would like to know that as well. You know what? I kind of want to, next time I go to that theater, I think I'm going to say something to the manager and be like, hey man, I've come here like a few times, and or do y'all, or at least ask them like, what's the calibration process? I don't know if they'll tell me. I don't know if they'll know, but yeah, if they're even calibrating it, what's the standard, Because I doubt they have, I doubt they're calibrating with like REW or something in there. I'm sure they have their own proprietary software stuff that they do for theaters, because I mean, it's a much, much larger room. And this, like with the theaters, there's no 0.1. It's not like at home where you have 5.1, 7.1. There's no 0.1. They're all just full range speakers. So you got these massive, massive speakers. I always like to look and see where they're at. And the IMAX one that I was at, I was just like, man, that thing, it's like the size of a room. Speakers are just huge. So, but you still got to calibrate them. Rich Moore says, the day my JVC showed up here in Thailand, JVC announced a new projector. Huh. Yeah, that does suck, man. Actually, I got that on my list here. We're going to talk about. That sucks, man. I don't know if you've opened it or you can, well, I mean, you're in Thailand, so you're probably limited on what you can do with it. Like, even if you haven't opened it, I don't know if you can like try to like swap it out or something, send it back to, I don't know. Dune 2 was very different to the book. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard that he adapted it a little bit differently, which from the stuff that I've heard, I'm glad that he did do it different, because it, like, I think Dune is already like a super niche property, and I don't think that I don't think that movie's for everyone. And I think if he would have adapted it exactly like the book, from what I've heard, I think it'd be even less popular. Okay, so movies. So yeah, we talked about that. So yeah, I saw The Fall Guy Wednesday, so 2 days ago, and it was a pretty good movie. It wasn't my favorite. It wasn't. I don't think it was great. Definitely wasn't bad, but it's a very, like I talked about in the out of theater reaction. It's a very different movie. So it's, and I know that that's loosely based off of the TV series with, I think, Lee Majors. I never saw that. That was before my time. But Ryan Gosling plays this stuntman. Like in the movie, he's like the most popular stuntman ever. Like he's like the GOAT. And he's got this relationship with another on-set member, like who's aspiring to be a director, but she's not yet. So that's Emily Blunt. And like the movie starts off, they're already kind of like flirtatious, so I guess they're already kind of in a relationship or building on that relationship. And then something happens to Ryan Gosling to where he has to stop being a stunt guy for like a year, I think like 18 months or like a year and a half. And then something else happens where he gets a call and it's like, "Hey, I need you to come back and be the stunt guy." And he's like, "No, I don't. I'm done. I can't do it anymore." So he gets pulled back into that, thinking, I don't want to ruin it, but he gets pulled back into that, and then something else happens, and there's like this big twist where he has to go find the actor that he usually does stunts for. Something happened to him, so he's got to find him, and then so it's kind of like three or four movies into one. You've got the action part of it, and then you've got the stunt part of it, which this movie is like a huge love letter to stunt people. It's really cool to see. And if you watch this movie, make sure you watch at least the beginning credits, because at the very end of the movie, as soon as the credits start, as the credits are rolling, they're showing you the actual stunts from the movie, like when they were filming. It's really cool. But so you've got the movie that's the stunt movie, the love letter to stunt people. Then you've got the action part of it. Then you've got the comedy, because there's a lot of comedy in there. I wouldn't say it's like super funny, but you've got the comedy, and then you've got the romance, and then it's also kind of like a rom com. So you've got like four or five different genres of movie into one, but it works. It's very clever. I was glad that I saw it. It's very interesting. Let's see here. Rich says, or Rob James says, "Rich, which model did you get on the JVC?" Rich says, "Paul and Chani have a baby which gets killed. Paul marries the leader's daughter, but Paul and Chani are together." Oh, he's talking about Dune. So Rich says he got the NZ7 Lumigen Pro and Panamorph lens. Rob is still using the NX7. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the new projectors here in a little bit. So I've got that on the docket, or I watched that, and then next week, or before we go to there, also want to talk about some TV shows, or a TV show at least. So I don't know if you guys are watching X-Men 97. X-Men 97 is awesome. Like I'd say it's probably the best Marvel comics that Marvel has ever done. Like show, TV series. It's incredible. I'm still catching up on the original season. Like I remember seeing it growing up, but I never like watched it all the way through. I was never into like TVs and movie shows. I want to say it came out on the weekends or something, but like I remember seeing it on TV, and I would catch like episodes here and there, but I just never watched it. So I'm watching it on. I need to actually watch a lot more frequently, but I'm watching it on Disney Plus. But I am watching X-Men 97, and it's written in a way that you don't you don't necessarily have to watch the original series to get everything. I mean, obviously there's stuff that happens that they reference to, but it's written really well that you don't have to. So it's easy to follow. I mean, it's pretty easy premise. You know, they're mutants, they're being hunted, but excellent show. Episode 5, for those of you that have seen it, and you can agree with me or disagree with me in the comments. Episode 5 of X-Men 97, to me personally, is the single greatest superhero episode ever out of anything that I've seen. Superhero animated show. And I'd say my favorite show, animated superhero show, is probably Young Justice. Probably followed by Superman animated series, and then the Batman, or the Batman animated series. Even though those are my favorite, X-Men 97 episode 5, greatest single episode animated superhero ever. But I think we still got 2 episodes left. This show is already at the top of my list now, but it might make it to the number 2 or number 3 by the time we're done with it. The writing is so good. So if you guys aren't watching it and you like X-Men, you like superheroes, check it out because it's awesome. Okay, so back to movies. So yeah, so I signed up for Regal Unlimited a couple months ago. I was debating on whether or not I wanted to start going back to the movie theaters, just because I know what the movie theater experience is like, and it's not the same anymore. It's really weird too. Like, I think the first movie that I saw after COVID, I think it was Avatar. That was in December of what is this, 2024? So 23, so December 2022. And I'm trying to remember how many people were in the theater. I went during the day because I was off on vacation, so there wasn't a lot of people. But I saw Godzilla Minus One opening weekend, prime time on Saturday, and there was less than 10 people in the entire theater. It was really, really weird. And then the next movie I saw was, I believe, Dune. I saw that one opening weekend, prime time on Saturday. There was maybe 15 people in the theater. It was kind of depressing. I'm like, man, this is really sad, because you don't want the theaters to go out of business, even though the theater experience isn't what it used to be. I mean, I guess I would much prefer less people in the theater than more people on their phones talking and stuff, getting up during the movie. I know you got to get up at sometimes to go to the bathroom and get stuff, but I would rather watch movies at home in my personal theater. But I'm like, you know what? Let me support the theaters, and I can always make some more content by going to the theaters, doing the out of theater reactions, doing the reviews and stuff like that. And then I also have a reference when these movies come to 4K, Blu-ray, digital, Kaleidoscape. I have a reference where I can say, hey, I saw this in the theater. This is a good transfer. This is not a good transfer. So I started looking into like AMC. I think it's AMC Prime, and then Regal Unlimited. And I was like, you know what? I like Regal. There's a Regal 20 minutes for me, and then there's a Regal like maybe 30 minutes for me, with traffic's probably like 45. So I started looking into it, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try that out. I don't know how much I'll use it, but obviously if I don't use it or if I don't like it, I can cancel. So I have the basic plan. It's like it's like $18 a month. And I can watch any movie as many times as I want, as long as it's on a normal screen. If I want to watch like IMAX or 40X or ScreenX, they charge you like a little bit extra. I think for IMAX, it was like $8. So $18 a month plus, an $8 ticket. I mean, I would probably pay that in just one movie for IMAX, if not more, plus popcorn. And that's another thing. They give you discounts. Every time you purchase a ticket, you get points, and then you can use those points to get like free popcorn, a free Coke, free upgrade. I really like it. I've more than got my money's worth already the first month. So I saw Dune twice on Regal Unlimited. I saw Godzilla X Kong twice on Unlimited. I've seen The Fall Guy a couple days ago. Next week is probably my second most anticipated movie of 2024, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I cannot wait for that. I love those movies. Love them. At least the modern ones. So, and I think another perk is, so when I saw The Fall Guy, it was on a, not a pre-screen, but it's like an advanced, it's called advanced screening. So the pre-screen usually happens like a month before. People like John Campea, Christian Harloff, they get to see it a month before. I don't have that kind of pull, but I started noticing when I was looking for these tickets, I kept seeing like the same movie twice. And so I clicked on one and it was like, oh, it's an advanced screening. So like with The Fall Guy, it actually gets released today. I saw it on Wednesday. And then on the same thing with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes next week, I get to see it on Wednesday. And it comes out on Friday. And there's a couple other movies. So I've got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes next week. I'm super, super excited for that. Can't wait to do that. I'm going to do an out of the theater reaction on that. And then what else do I have? There's like 4 movies coming out this month that I'm going to see. Let me pull up my Regal Unlimited. Check that out. Okay, so yeah, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is next week. If that movie with Ryan Gosling, Imaginary Friends, that's on May 16th. And then Garfield is also this month on May 19th. I'm not too excited about Garfield. I've never been a big Garfield fan, especially not with the live action movies. Like growing up, I remember watching Garfield and I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say that I'm like a Garfield fanatic, because there are some fanatics out there. But I'm like, hey, you know what? That one's also early access. So I'm like, hey, I've got this Regal Unlimited. Why not? I can make some content with it, let you guys know what I think. So yeah, if you guys have Regal Unlimited, let me know. Or if you have another like Movie Pass, let me know which one you have. You have AMC. It's actually worth it. I think I'm going to keep it. So yeah, 4 movies this month. I don't even remember the last time I went to, I don't think I've ever gone to 4 movies in one month, ever, since I've been alive. So I'm definitely getting my money's worth. I'm excited to go back to the movies and, support the theaters, because even though the theater experience is not what it used to be, I don't want them to die. Like, I mean, theaters have been around for forever. I mean, can you imagine if our generation has kids, or the next generation after that has kids, and there's like there's no theaters? Like that's kind of sad. All right, let's check the comments. Let's see. Spiffy Bendrix, that's crazy. Justice League Unlimited is my jam. It's super hot. Yes. I also forget. So I do love the Justice League Unlimited, or the Justice League. What was the other one? It's Justice League, and I think Justice League Unlimited. Because I know there was like 2 seasons of Justice League, and then there was one where they expanded it, where it was just like a bunch of superheroes. I believe that one's unlimited, but I forgot about that one. I also love Justice League animated series. That's one of my favorite ones. So I guess I would say Young Justice. This is going to be hard. Young Justice was just really, at least the first 2 seasons. The stuff that was on HBO Max, they screwed that up, man. Like, I was genuinely upset when I saw that. Like, that made me mad. But the first 2 seasons of Young Justice for me is like one of my favorite. The writing is just so good. I would say Young Justice. Let's see, man, where do I put the stuff now? Because I have to think about X-Men 97. It's really that good. Like, I need to wait till the season finishes to see where it's going to rank, but it's probably going to rank in the top 3. So for right now, I'd go Justice League, or Young Justice, Superman animated series, just because Superman's my favorite superhero. I love Superman. Batman the animated series, Justice League / Justice League Unlimited, and then probably right now X-Men 97. But I feel like X-Men 97 is probably going to take a couple leaps up in that list. Yeah, check it out, man. X-Men 97, so I looked it up today on IMDb, because I was like, what is the rating on this? 9 out of 10. You don't see that very often on IMDb, especially for animated. Mike Likes Taco says, I think quality of auditorium is critical, talking about the movies. I would pay more to have the showing I would pay more to have the showing worth my time. Yeah, I mean, so like I said, the good thing about people not being in the theaters is that there's really no distractions. Actually, when I went to see The Fall Guy on Wednesday, there was more people in that theater, and it was IMAX. There was way more people in that theater for an advance showing than like just a regular Saturday, because it was on a Wednesday at 7 o'clock. So people are still getting off work. They're driving home. The theater wasn't full, but there was more people in that theater. Like there was people next to me because I picked the seat like right in the middle. I was like, it's the middle of the week. It's an advance showing. There's probably not going to be. There was a lady and her husband, I guess, right next to me. She was there, and then I think there was a space between on the left. There was a seat open, and then there was this people. I was like, did not expect that many people to be here on a Wednesday at 7 p.m. But I will say, like I was saying, even though there's less people in the theaters in general, it does make for a little bit better experience as far as the people that's in there. Like I haven't seen anybody on their phones because there's no teenagers in there, and it has been a better experience. So it's kind of one of those things where it's sad to see that there's not as many people in the theater, but it kind of benefits you because you don't have all the like ghetto people in there, people talking, people on their phones and doing stuff. So I guess it kind of works out. Mike Likes Tacos says, I saw Dune 4 times. Wow, that's a lot. But I get why you saw it. I will see Fall Guy in episode 1 next up. Okay. Yeah, I think you're talking about Star Wars. Yeah, I saw that in the Regal app. I was like, why am I seeing Star Wars? But I forgot May the 4th is tomorrow, so they're probably doing that for Star Wars. So I debated whether I wanted to see it on the big screen because I never saw any of the Star Wars movies like the original on the big screen. But I was like, I've seen those. Like I have them. Like I'll just watch them later. I bought 10 tickets to the Garfield Early Access family film. I would take a shot on it. 10? That's all your family? That's a big family, man. That's that's still pretty pricey because I don't know if you have Regal, or I'm assuming you have, if you go into an advanced screening, I'm assuming you have like a plan. At least on my plan, I only get one free. I don't know what the other plans are like if you get multiple, but I'm sure you don't get all that for free. But that's a lot, man. Yeah, hopefully you enjoy it, because that would suck if you bring your whole family there and it sucks. Like I said, I'm not really expecting to even like enjoy Garfield, but the fact that I can watch it for free and it's early access, I'm like, why not? And it's Garfield, so it can't be that bad, but who knows? Yeah, man, rewatch Young Justice. The first 2 seasons are great. The first season is just the writing and the feel of it. Like, man, I've got to start watching it now. But I remember watching it because it was on Cartoon Network, and I kind of happened on it by accident. I don't even think I saw the first episode, and I was like, Young Justice, what is this? And I watched one episode, and I was like, hey, this is not bad. This is pretty good. I was like, I need to catch up on the rest of this. And I think, Cartoon Network, they'll like replay stuff, like at least they used to, like over and over again. So I think I was able to catch up, and then I watched it pretty much the whole season. And I was like, oh snap, I think this is the best cartoon that I've ever seen. Obviously that's going to be subjective. Most people are probably going to say Batman the Animated Series. I think that's highly regarded as like the best animated series ever. Plus it has like, what, 4, 5, 6 seasons. So I get that. But for me personally, like, man, and maybe this is because I wasn't expecting it, but it was so good. Rich Moore says, I'm building my theater here because there are no theaters within 100 miles with movies in English. Jeez, 100 miles, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I would do that too. But hey, at least you're going to have the most pimping theater in 100 miles. Man, that would suck though. Like, how do people watch anything? I mean, at least in English, like where do you, if you're English and you don't speak the language, or you just don't want to watch subtitles. I don't know if they even have English subtitles, but like, how do you keep up with movies? It seems like most people, like English speaking people, would miss a lot. The last big movie trip where the theater was packed was for Spider-Man: No Way Home. Yeah, did I see Spider-Man? No, I didn't see Spider-Man: No Way Home. I watched that one at home. I waited for the Blu-ray release. But I mean, it made. I think that was the well before Oppenheimer and Barbie. Did Oppenheimer make a billion? I don't remember. I think Barbie did. But I think before those movies, Spider-Man: No Way Home was the last movie to make $1 billion. So obviously there was people in the theaters if it made that much. NZ7 gonna blow local theaters away. Does your Regal have all recliners in standard? I know the ones by me are renovated. So interesting that you say that. The Regal that's like 20 minutes for me, it used to be Silverado. I don't know if you have those. And then it turned into a Regal. Like, it's been some years. They renovated that. But the IMAX that I go to, like the big, 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 big screen, my buddy went there for Dune, and he was showing me, he's like, hey man, they renovated this. Like the color, like the seats used to be like red, now they're like blue. And I was like, oh, that looks different. So when I went there on Wednesday, they completely redid the entire theater, and it's a huge, huge, huge theater. I even think they expanded because when I did my out of theater reaction, I went like there was like a back section that I've never seen before that had other like theaters in there, a movie screening. So I went back there to film my out of theater reaction because it was quiet and there was nobody back there. But yeah, so the IMAX that I have, it does recline, but not much. Like maybe 20, 30 degrees. Like you can recline it, but you're still sitting up enough to where you can see the screen. It's not like I think AMC Prime has those like where you can like straight up just like almost lay down. So I did find myself having to like adjust my position maybe 3 or 4 times during the movie just because I would get tired in one position. They're not. I wouldn't say that they're extremely uncomfortable, but they're not very comfortable. But I mean, the theater is much. I like what they did after the renovation. It looks better. But I was going to talk about that. So I started doing the out of theater reactions. I know I'm probably not going to get like thousands and thousands of views on those. You kind of have to be with those. You kind of have to be the first person to see the movie. So people like John Campea, Christian Harloff. I don't know if any of you guys watch them, but like they get to see the movie for at the pre-screen. So like reviewers, because they have an embargo, and then they go watch the movie, and then they lift the embargo and they can talk about it. So they get to see it like a month and a half, a month out, or at Comic-Con sometimes it's 2 months out. It just depends. So they're like the first ones to talk about the movie. So everybody's, searching for it, and so they get like 15,000, 20,000, 60,000 views. I know I'm not going to get that because by the time I've done my out of theater reaction, there's already been 2 or 3, whatever. But I am trying to expand my content. I'm trying to do as much as possible, and it's fun, but it's still kind of awkward, even though we live in a world now where content creation, content creators, and influencers is like the norm. Like you see people walking around doing stuff on their phone, filming themselves. I feel like there's still a stigma, and it's still weird, and it's still kind of awkward. So like when I do the out of theater reactions, I try to find like a place where it's a little bit secluded, where there's not going to be a lot of people, because you still get looks. People still look at you like what are you doing? Especially if you're standing outside of a theater talking, like people are like, what's going on here? I'm sure it's not that big a deal. It's probably making more a deal out of it than it actually is, but you still do get some looks. It's kind of awkward. So I do like the IMAX theater that I went to on Wednesday, because I found like a little place where, especially during the week, if it's like next week for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I believe it's going to be on a Wednesday. I found a little place in the back where there was like nobody, so I was like, oh, I can come back here and film. But I just threw that in because I think it's kind of funny. Rich says the whole dynamic change with Star Wars coming out may sound weird, but true. Hopefully I don't butcher your name. Pinarello? Sorry if I butchered that, man. Says ghetto people know what you mean, bro. I can't stand around in this in the theater when I'm trying to enjoy my same. I don't even like clapping in the theater. Like, I hate that. And some of my friends or I've heard some people like, well, if it's like I think what was it that when that happened? Like in game, like I realize the magnitude of the movie, like what was going on. I still don't like it. Like I don't unless my thinking is unless the cast is actually there at that movie when you're watching the movie, don't clap. Like who are you clapping for? I don't know. It just annoys me because people start clapping and then they start cheering, and I start to lose the dialogue. I'm like, wait, what did they say? Now I've missed probably an important piece of dialogue. So I don't know. That just annoys me. The early access were matinee, $120. Oh my goodness, that's pretty steep, man. But hey, you're doing it with family, so that's cool. But man, that's that hurts. I have one Regal that reclines and one that doesn't. Hmm. So I think one of the Regals that so the Regal that's close by me, no, actually it's a different Regal. The standard seats or the standard movie, they let you recline just enough to where it's like, oh, I want to go back further, but it's kind of uncomfortable. It's kind of weird. I feel the same way about Blu-ray sometimes. Definitely want to be one of the first to check out the Dune 2 4K this month. Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get on this very quick. And I know like at first those reviews probably aren't going to get a whole lot of views just because I've never done them on the channel before. So the algorithm's probably like, hey, this is new format. Like, I don't really know what to do with this. But I will say the reactions that I've gotten have been very, very positive. People seem to be enjoying the movie reviews. So I'm doing more of those. Actually, that's a good segue because I have that on here. So Kaleidoscape reviews. So yeah, so I've done the Dune Part 2, and they're actually really fun to make. It's it's still time consuming because I have to do like a bunch of different shots in the format that I want to do it. But it's fun and I like it. And I think it's more engaging than just like sitting down talking about a movie. Hey, here's this, here's this, here's this. Like I want it to be engaging and I want people to, look forward to it. So yeah, if you haven't checked those out, go check those out. I've done Dune Part 2. I've done Madame Web, which is not a good movie, but I was like, hey, you know what? There's probably not going to be very many reviews on this because it's bad and it tanked in the theater. So I'll just buy it and I'll just, make some content with it. I'll probably be one of the only ones that has any content with it. And it's funny, I've had quite a few, not quite a few, but I've had more than one person, more than two people reach out to me on the comments and be like, hey man, thanks for reviewing this movie, taking a hit for the team so we don't have to. Yeah, that was, man, that was such a cringeworthy movie. I don't know why that movie got greenlit. But so I've done those two. I just recorded my talking head for Gran Turismo. I know that movie's been out for a while, but when I watched it on Kaleidoscape, I was like, snap, this is a really, really good Atmos mix. And I wasn't expecting that from the movie. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a video on it. And I believe I was talking to Shane Lee. He was like, yeah, man, this mix is awesome. Because I had told him, I was like, hey, man, when he was, transitioning to buying his house, I was like, you need to watch this movie when you get a chance. It's like the audio is really good. And so when he watched it, he messaged me. He was like, dude, this is awesome. I was like, I told you, man. So I have that I'm working on. Hopefully more than likely, probably Sunday. Hopefully, maybe Saturday. But I just filmed the talking head like right before I did the live stream. And then I got to go and film all the different angles and B-roll and stuff like that. And then I got to sit down and edit it. So hopefully Sunday. I have that one. And then I'm also currently working on The Abyss. I'm working on the script for that one. The script is pretty much done. Believe it or not, that was my first time watching The Abyss. So it's a good movie. It's it's hard for me to get like excited for old movies just because I'm spoiled with growing up. I mean, even growing up in the 80s, the technology wasn't as good as it is now. Like even watching some of the old movies from the 90s, I'm like, ooh, this did not date well. But the Abyss was good. The story was good. I would like to see, that's one movie I can say I would like to see it be not rebooted but redone with modern technology, because I think it would be awesome with James Cameron. I think he could make it even bigger and grander. But the audio on that is incredible. Also wasn't expecting that since it's an old movie, but I know it's remastered. The audio on that is very, very good. Like whatever James Cameron did, and I didn't see it in its other iterations. I didn't see it on DVD or VHS. I didn't see it on DVD. I didn't see it on Blu-ray, so I have nothing to compare it to. The all the channels are active, but the Atmos channels are very active, and it's very convincing. Like I want to watch it again, but I was like, man, this is better than some of the modern movies that came out. So I'm excited to make that one. If you guys haven't seen it, or if you guys are thinking about picking up, it's a good audio mix. The video, I mean, it looks dated. Like you can't really do a whole lot to those old movies. There are some scenes, and I will talk about this in a review. It looks like an old movie, but there are some scenes where you can clearly tell they did some type of AI upscaling. It's really weird. Like for the most part, the movie is like, okay, yeah, this is an old movie. It looks old. It looks like it's from the 80s or 70s or 80s. I don't remember when it came out. I don't think it's from the 70s, maybe 80s, early 90s, maybe. But then there's like some scenes where you're like, oh, wow, like that's very apparent. They did something there. So it's kind of weird. So I have those two that I'm also working on. And then Godzilla X Kong comes out this month. I'm super pumped about that because the previous Kong movies, especially Godzilla versus Kong, have had great Atmos. So I can't wait to see and hear what this one's going to be like. And I will be doing a review on that one as well. Okay, so let's go back and check the comments here. I hate clapping. Yeah, man, I just don't get it. Like, I get the excitement. I get people like it. I think, did I see what was the Star Wars movie that came back after so many years? Star Wars. Oh, man, I'm drawing a blank. Somebody will help me out. With the girl. The first movie when they came back with Rey. So I had went back and watched all the Star Wars movies to prepare myself because I had seen them. Some of them I hadn't seen all the way through. Some of them I had seen and it had been years. But I bought the box set on Blu-ray and I went back and watched them. So I was like, let me go watch these. And then I went and watched the, was it Return of the Jedi? Episode 7. Anyways, I went back to see the new movie, the Star Wars movie. And I guess just because it had been so long since the Star Wars, man, people were just clapping left and right. They were cheering. And I was like, dude, come on, man. Like, shut up. I'm sure I was probably like the only one not doing it, but I just don't like doing that or being around that when I'm watching a movie. Like, do it at home if you want to. I don't even like that watching with friends. Like, when people talk during the movie, I'm like, man, come on. Force Awakens, that's what it was. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Yeah, Star Wars Force Awakens. So yeah, I watched all the Star Wars movies prior to that, and then I went to the theater and saw that one, and I was just like, really? Just cheering and applauding and clapping. Anytime like Chewbacca came on the screen, anytime like, popular characters came on screen, people, this is all they would do. And I was just like, come on, man, this is unnecessary. Again, the cast isn't here. Like maybe if the cast was here, you were at a premiere or something. But even then, let's see. I used to go to the Dolby by me, but there's a stair light that's busted and shines too bright. Man, they need to fix that. That's whack. Yeah, actually, when I saw, was it Dune Part 2 in the standard version? I felt like the lights because I was sitting right on the edge. I either like to sit right on the edge in the middle if it's designed that way or straight in the middle. But I like the edges because one thing, I'm 6'1", 230. So I'm not a small dude. I like to be in a position where if I need to get up, I can just walk out and I don't have to walk between people. Or if people need to walk out, like I'm like the last person. Because when you have to like contort and get out of the way for people, it's just uncomfortable. Same thing with planes. I always try to get the aisle seat. But yeah, when I saw Dune Part Two, I was sitting on the very end, and the stairs were like right there, and I was like, these lights are kind of too bright, even though they were dim. But yeah. So let me see. So home theater updates. So I've got some stuff. I'm working on. What do I have in here? I have a Revon player that I'm working on also. Well, starting to work on for a review. Blu-ray player. I don't remember the model number. I've had it for a while, and I was like, you know what? Raphael from Arvolution, he messaged me. Was like, hey, do you want to review the player or the Revolution player? I don't remember the name of it, but it's the 8K version. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And he was like, I need the Revon player back, and I was like, oh, okay. Like it was still in the box. I hadn't even opened it, and I was like, all right, well, I guess I missed the opportunity on this. And I was like, can you send me a shipping label so I can ship it back to you? That was like 2 months ago. Never heard from the dude. And a few weeks ago, I was like, you know what? I still have this. I need to make some content with it. So I busted it out. It's on my second rack. And I've got some B-roll stuff of it. I need to actually start working on that. It's probably going to be a few more weeks before I start on that. I also have an Akio RZ70 that I'm reviewing for acoustics. So that's not going to be on my channel, but I have started working on that one as well. I started working on it and then I kind of waited because of the announcement with Disney Plus and IMAX Enhanced. So that receiver supports IMAX Enhanced. And I was like, you know what? I should probably wait till the update because I believe the update gets released on May 17th. Even Osborne made a video about it. I believe that gets released on May 17th. So I'm like, I shot all the B-roll for it, but I haven't actually like reviewed it. So I'll probably try to start on that this weekend. That way I can have most of the testing and everything done. And then all I'll have to do is test the IMAX Enhanced. I'm hoping I'll be able to test it. I know it's not going to be available on Apple TV because they don't support DTS-X unless they come out with it. I'm sorry. They don't support IMAX Enhanced audio because they don't support DTS-X. Unless between now and the 17th, Apple decides to release an update, I won't be able to use that. The only thing that I can think of that I will be able to test IMAX Enhanced on is my NVIDIA Shield. But I have the 2017 version. So I'm not sure if it'll work. I would think that it would because it plays DTS-X and IMAX Enhanced I think is kind of like DTS-X with metadata, kind of like Dolby Atmos where it's Dolby True HD and then the metadata is on top of that. That's the only thing that I think that I have that I'll be able to, I'm not going to buy like another NVIDIA Shield just to test that for the receiver that I'm going to send back. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to test that on the NVIDIA Shield. What else do I have? I've got the Arendal subwoofer that I still need to review. I just hung my last two Arendal 1961 height speakers. I actually hung them a couple months ago, but I don't like how close they are to the ceiling. So I watched one of Shane Lee's videos, and I was like, hey man, what speakers did you use to hang in the front of your theater? And it's actually a TV mount, an articulating TV mount. So I bought them, and it's got VESA mounts on it. So I got that. I just mounted those yesterday. And then I'm working on redoing my front wall. Once I do that, I will probably hang the front two Atmos or height speakers with those mounts as well. Because right now I have them they're mounted on the wall, but they're not mounted on the ceiling. It's just high up on the wall, and I can only go so high up because the bookshelf speaker will hit the ceiling. So whenever I redo my front wall, I'm going to buy another set of those articulating arms and mount those actually hanging from the ceiling. And it swivels and you can aim them down, so I have much more flexibility. What else do I have? So more Kaleidoscape reviews. I think that's everything that I have in the pipeline right now. Oh, and I still have to do the Stark Sound dual subwoofer review, and I think I might be getting some other subwoofers for acoustics to review, but I don't know about that yet. Force Awakens, yeah, I didn't go see that. I saw it just because, I mean, so I'm not going to say that I am a Star Wars fanatic because I'm not, but I'm a huge movie lover. So because I am a huge movie lover, I love movies. I was like, I will go see Star Wars. But I'm never going to be like, I'm not a Star Wars fanatic. Like if they stopped making Star Wars movies today and never made any, I probably wouldn't care. But I mean, anyways, the movies haven't been, they've polluted Star Wars so much. Like they're just milking the fans because they know that there's hardcore Star Wars people and that it's going to get the views. It doesn't even matter. They could release 5 movies this year. People are going to watch it. They may not be good, but people are going to watch Star Wars no matter what. And I feel like they've just been milking it. We've had some good stuff. Andor is exceptional. Very good. Mandalorian. I love the Mandalorian. Bad Batch. I just watched the Bad Batch yesterday, the series finale. That one's been pretty good. And this season, the last season, season 3, I thought was excellent. That was my favorite season. So there is some good stuff, but I just feel like, man, for a while it was just like, I even remember they said they were going to have a Star Wars movie every year. It's like, why? Like, chill out. So, let's see. What's up, Ike? I think the first 6 are super flames. Definitely want to grab them on 4K, but it's just kind of pricey at the moment. Yeah, and I don't know if they're gonna do this for 4K Blu-ray, but I did get a message today for the Kaleidoscape saying that there's like you can buy all of them super like discounted. I guess because May the 4th this weekend. I don't know if they're gonna do that. I don't know if Amazon or Target has anything like that. I mean, I already have them on 4K Blu-ray on disc, so I'm not gonna buy them on Kaleidoscape. But you might look around this weekend if you want to buy them. If you're talking about Star Wars, they might be on sale because of May the 4th. I broke out the VHS Star Wars to show my family. Yeah, broke out. Let's see. What else do we have here? I think I pretty much talked about everything. So Mwave. So yeah, Mwave is coming up. Almost a little bit over a month away. So that's coming up. I'm super excited about that. I don't know if any of you guys watching this now are going to be there. If you are, I'm super excited. Look forward to seeing you, meeting you if I haven't met you already. I will, if you are going to be there, I will probably be running around a lot filming. So I'll apologize in advance if I don't have adequate amount of time to just like sit down and talk to you, because I am working with some brands. So I do have some stuff that I need to do or to film, but I will be there, and I will be there all 3 days this time. Probably less on Sunday. I wasn't there on Sunday last time, but my flight leaves, I think, in the afternoon, so I'll probably have to leave like half day to get to the airport. But yeah, if you're gonna be there, I'm excited. Look forward to seeing you. Definitely stop by or stop me and say hello if I'm not filming. Do you plan to buy any of the 4K on K that you already own? Are you done buying blue? I'm not done. So I literally, like, within I think Gran Turismo was the first movie that I bought on there. And in the last maybe month and a half, I've bought a lot. Not a lot, but so I'm trying to build up my Kaleidoscape library so that I can do some reviews. And I have it, so it's like I need to use it. I'm not done buying 4K. I'm right now. I'm being kind of a little bit selective. Like I said, I'm not being as selective because I'm trying to build up the library and I'm trying to make some content with it, but I'm definitely not done buying 4K Blu-rays. I only have a 6 terabyte disc or hard drive. So it's if I buy movies sparingly, it'll probably last me a while, but it's not going to take me very long to fill that up if I just keep buying everything on there. So my plan is to be very selective with the movies that I buy. But right now I probably won't be as selective, like I said, because I'm trying to build up my library. I'm trying to, make content with it. But I'm definitely not done buying 4K Blu-rays. I'm actually going to double dip on Dune because the Kaleidoscope doesn't support Dolby Vision, and I want the Dolby Vision. Like, I want the highest quality possible on that disc. So I will buy Dune. I will double dip on that one. I will probably yeah, I gotta think this out because there's gonna be some stuff that I'm gonna buy. I'm just gonna buy once. Like, I'm not gonna buy everything twice. But then there's some stuff where I'm like, I want the Dolby Vision version of this as well. So, and it kind of sucks because I mean you're talking probably 60, $70 for two if I buy it on the Kaleidoscope and the 4K Blu-ray. But at some point, I'm going to have to scale back because I only have 6 terabytes and I don't have the money to buy to expand the hard drive on it, or the hard drive space. The good thing about Kaleidoscope, though, is that once you buy the movie, it's yours. So if I fill up on my 6 terabytes, I can, delete some movies. I can still re-download it later and watch it. Just because I delete it doesn't mean it's gone. Once I purchase the movie, it's mine. So there is that aspect of it, but definitely not done buying 4K Blu-rays. I just have to decide which ones I want. Like, is this something where I want like the highest quality possible without Dolby Vision? I'll probably buy it on the Kaleidoscope. Is this something I don't really care about, but I love movies and I want to have it in my collection? I'll probably buy it on 4K Blu-ray. I wanted to try Super Hot Burnout in the cards this year. Understandable, man. Very, very understandable. Simon Dinwalt says, we'll be at Mwave with my brother and my nephew. Awesome. That's cool. You get to make a family trip out of it. So I look forward to meeting you. And forgive me in advance. I probably won't remember. Some of you all know the names because I've seen you before at Mwave last year. But I'm probably not going to remember everybody's names or faces because it'll be the first time I'm seeing you. So don't be offended if, I don't know your name or if I don't remember your name. Your Epson does Dolby Vision? It does not, but I have an HD Fury 4K Diva that allows me to get low latency Dolby Vision. So there's two, well, there might be more than two, but the two major flavors of Dolby Vision are like the full bandwidth Dolby Vision, and then there's low latency Dolby Vision, which is not full bandwidth. But the way it works is the normal version of Dolby Vision is done on the display. So your TVs, there may be some monitors that do it. Low latency Dolby Vision is done on the player. So you got Dolby Vision, that's the tone mapping is done on the TV, and then low latency Dolby Vision is done on the player. So your Apple TV that supports 4K, that supports Dolby Vision, your Xbox Series X, your Zedu, Zapiti, your Blu-ray players, your Oppo, that supports low latency Dolby Vision where the tone mapping is done on the player, but it's not full bandwidth. I don't know what the difference is because I'm not in that realm. I can't tell you like, oh yeah, you're gonna get more colors, a million more colors in Dolby Vision versus low latency Dolby Vision. But also the way it works is so the HD Fury product, it kind of tricks your projector into thinking that it can play it. So what it does is it takes the Dolby Vision signal and then it repackages that signal into an HDR10 container, because projectors, and I'm not talking about like the short throws that support Dolby Vision, that's even questionable. every projector supports or if you have a HDR projector, it's going to support HDR10 or HDR10 plus. What the HD Fury products does, the only signal that the HDR signal that your projector can recognize is HDR10 or HDR10 plus. So what the HD Fury product does is it takes the Dolby Vision and just puts it in another format or another container, this instance being HDR10, and sends it to your projector. Even though it's still Dolby Vision, it's being sent in an HDR10 container so that your projector can recognize it. Because if you just send that signal, Dolby Vision, you're not going to get any picture. Your projector's going to be like, hey, what's going on here? But it's very clever what the people at HD Fury did. Very smart. They just take the Dolby Vision signal and it sends it to your projector in an HDR10 container, and then the tone mapping is being done on the player versus the TV. So that's how it works. Some people might say that it doesn't look as good. I mean, I do notice a difference when I watch stuff on like Apple TV. I'm like, oh, when I first got it, I was like, oh snap, like this looks way better. So, but it's really cool. They're really cool products to help you get that. Hopefully you remember me. Um. Oh, he's talking about Mwave. Yeah. Come on, man. I'll remember you. Nah, I know you're joking. I was like, wait a minute. What is he talking about? And then I clicked Mwave. Let's see. That's super dope, and it beats the HDR10 Frayed in your testing. Oh, HDR grade in your testing. So, I don't know. So I'm not a professional, and I've reached out to. I mean, Ike, he has one. I think he has the HD Fury Room, the 8K version, the HDMI 2.1 version. I'm not an expert at it. What's cool about it is it has like these presets that you can from I guess from like other TVs because they're named like Sony, low latency, Dolby Vision, Panasonic, but it has these presets that you can just select and you can select it and it'll change your settings to a low latency Dolby Vision settings or Dolby Vision. But you can configure it even more. I just don't know how to. And I've reached out to HD Fury on numerous occasions to ask them, hey, will you come on a live stream to talk about HD Fury and like talk about how to actually configure this thing to get the most out of it? But they won't do it. They always tell me they're like a really small team and they don't have the time for it. I'm like, okay, because there's almost, I don't know anybody else. I think Ike has made a couple videos, but I made a bunch of videos on HD Fury. I don't know. I can't find anything else on them on YouTube, on the internet. So that's why I'm like, hey, that's why I started making videos on it. Because I'm like, this thing is awesome, but there's no videos. So I made a couple videos to try to help people. But other than that, like you can do some other stuff in there to get an even better picture other than the presets. I just don't know how to. So I can't really answer your question. Yeah, so Ike says HD Fury is great, love it, and I see the difference. Yeah, there's definitely a difference. Man, they won't. Like, I used to reach out to them like every 6 months because the first time I reached out to them, they told me that, and they were like, reach out, maybe in the future. So I'm like, okay. So I reached out to them maybe 2 or 3 times since then, and it's the same thing every time. They're like, we don't do live streams. We don't. I'm like, make the time, man. How long is it gonna take? So I don't know. I think they may even be in another country, but yeah, maybe I'll try again at some point. Being a small team should incentivize them too. I would think so. I would think that they would want to get. I mean, I'm not a big channel or anything like that, but at least I can try to do my part and get them on the channel and have content, a video that anybody can access if they want it, for the HD Fury. But I would think that they would want more exposure because, like I said, nobody makes videos on them. Nobody. That would be really cool to compare Dune 2 on Kaleidoscape versus 4K Ultra AC. Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe doing that, but it would have to be different because I've already done the review of it and I don't want to do the exact same thing over again. But I also don't want to just have like a 15-minute of just me talking about how different it is. And it's, even if I was able to do a side by side comparison, it's not going to come through on YouTube because YouTube's going to compress it. So I don't know. I may try to do something. I have to brainstorm to see what would be the best way to even do that. But I have thought about it. Don't got to make a vid. Just test it and let me know what you think. But you know people are going to ask for a video. Let's see. I think that's it, man. I think this is going to be a short one today. I wanted to get done a little bit early because I do want to try to get some more filming done for the Gran Turismo Blu-ray review. I was editing a little bit before I got on here, and it is Friday. I got a lot to do this weekend, and I need to get me something to eat too. So I think I'm going to call it, man. But we've been on here for an hour and 11 minutes, so I think that's a good stopping point. But yeah, man, thank you to everybody that's continuing to support the channel. If you want to purchase Mwave tickets, you can see the affiliate link down there. I will get a small commission from that. It doesn't cost you anything, but I know Michael said that he wants to reward all the content creators that are going there and helping to promote. So I also have a Patreon. If you're not signed up with Patreon, I am making a lot more regular content on there, some behind the scenes, some stuff that's just not going to be on YouTube. It's not going to be like YouTube quality videos because I don't have the time to do all of that. It's mainly done on my cell phone. Depending on if I'm live on vacation, like if I'm out in the field doing stuff, that may be on the camera, but it's just kind of like behind the scenes stuff. I think most people know the behind the scenes stuff on like movies and stuff isn't usually high quality, but there is stuff on there that I'm making specifically for Patreon members that, it's not on YouTube and you can't access it. But I am making more content, so if you want it, you can check that out. Let's see, what else? Oh, yeah, I'm still trying to make it to 10,000 subscribers. I'm trying to hopefully do that before Mwave. I don't think it's going to happen. I think I'm going to get close. I may get 9,000. Most of you watching this are probably already subscribed anyway, but I do want to say thank you to everybody that has been supportive, that's been subscribing, and, it's fun talking to you guys in the comments and seeing the positive feedback on like videos and whenever I try new stuff. So appreciate that. Let's see. Yes, and hit the like button, please. Thank you, Ike, for reminding me. Fellow content creator. Also, Ike has a channel. He is kicking my butt on the live stream part. I mean, I don't do weekly live streams. That's a lot of work, and I know Ike has kids. So props to you, Ike, man, for keeping it up. I don't remember what episode you're on. I don't always get to chime in or to catch the live streams, but I have chimed in live sometimes. And then sometimes I'm able to just, pop in for a couple seconds and then I don't say anything just because I'm busy. But, man, I want to say he's up to like almost 20 episodes or something now. But Ike has a YouTube channel. He does live streams every week religiously. I don't think he's missed yet. So props to him. Episode 25. Man, that's awesome, dude. So yeah, go check that out. I think he live streams every Thursday at 8 o'clock. Because he's in Texas. He's in Dallas. So we have the same time zone. But I think he does Thursdays at 8. He's trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Almost there. I think the last time I checked was you were like at what, 800 something. So go support him. Yeah, 8:30 Central Time, every Thursday. Crazy hustle. I'll be chilling at the next one. Cool, man. Yeah, go support him. Support all of us, man. It's a lot of work. I know it's fun, but I think a lot of people don't realize, unless you actually do it, you probably can't. It is a lot of work. Live streams are still work. Even this, because I got to put my camera, but it's really, that's probably the most simple thing. It's just to set a camera, turn it on, go live. I don't have to do any editing because unless I want to like chop it up for like some shorts or some short form content. But making videos it's a lot of work. And if you want to make quality videos, it's even more work. So we appreciate all the likes, we appreciate all the comments, the shares, all that stuff, and you guys rock. 930 subs now. Man, you're only 70, less than 100. So, man, props to you, Ike. I know he's been posting more content. I know he's been doing a lot more live streams. So, yeah, man, we greatly appreciate all your support for us content creators and everything that you guys do. So, thank you guys. I think I'm gonna go get something to eat, maybe work on this Gran Turismo review, and hopefully I'll see you guys on the next live stream. Catch you guys later.